everyone, and welcome to episode number 39 of the Iron Coop Superhero Movie Review Podcast. I'm Keo, your host. With me on the show today is Emerson
Hey, what's up?
and Everett.
Hey, what's going on?
Everett, you're echoing.
I am.
Um, yeah, just turn it down. You can reach us at theironcube@gmail.com and on Instagram at theironcube. If you enjoy the show, please be sure to like, share, subscribe, and most importantly, review our podcast on iTunes so that we can spread the show around. This week, the team reviews Marvel's newest entry, The Black Panther, and more movie, television, and video game news. I'm going to start with the news this week just because I have like two or three things. So I'll start with the biggest piece of news, which is a spoiler for Infinity War based on the Lego set. The spoiler is for who operates the Hulkbuster armor that we see in the trailer. So it's kind of minor, but it's not Tony Stark. So spoilers, it's Bruce Banner.
Really?
That's who's in the armor. Yeah.
I think that's what everybody assumed, right?
Yeah, I mean, he's like
So can
seen
he
standing
not
next to the
be
armor.
the Hulk or something?
Oh, maybe, I don't know. Maybe he doesn't want to be. I don't know. But we see the Hulk in the trailer, so he's going to be
Yeah.
the Hulk. Unless the Hulk gets separated. Um, all right, and then Punisher Season 2 starts filming on February 26th. So that's coming. And the Ninja Turtles are in Injustice. Did you guys know about this?
I
Yep.
heard about that.
I knew about that.
I didn't know. I haven't played it or anything, but
I
I just thought that was
have.
interesting.
I have watched a bunch
Are
of
they
videos on it.
are they are they good?
I
Fun?
mean,
I don't know.
it's technically not all four of them. It's one character that comes with four skins that makes them into the four different ones.
Do they have different voices at least?
Kind of. I mean, there's variation, but they all sound very similar.
All right. Okay, so let's do our non-spoiler grades of Black Panther. Everett, why don't you go first?
I give it an A minus.
A minus. All right.
Yeah.
Care to elaborate?
I thought it was very visually pleasing. The music was great. I thought the character development and acting was really superb. There were a few things that kind of off-put me, but other than that, the movie I thought was really, well done.
How about you, Emerson?
Uh, B, maybe B minus.
Oh yeah.
It wasn't bad per se, but it didn't really
You're a
blow me out of the
robot.
water. Of course I am.
Okay. All right. I give it an A minus as well. Um, I just thought that it did a lot of the things that I want from a movie. Um, from like the Marvel movies, I've complained a lot about how the heroes don't suffer enough. So we got a lot of that. I thought the action was decent, um, but I thought they packed a lot because a lot of these Marvel movies, or at least the origin movies, are kind of just one big teaser. The heroes, they're going to get to point B, and the whole movie just takes its sweet time getting from just A to B. But this movie went from like A to B to C to D, so I enjoyed it. I enjoyed the ride, so I give it an A minus. Um, with that, you guys want to go into spoilers now?
Sure.
Sure.
All right, so let's start with some of the trailers because we forgot to talk about the Mission Impossible trailer. Did you guys see that?
Yeah.
Yeah, I saw the official one.
So, something about that song in that trailer is cringy.
Yeah.
What, the
You know what I
remix
mean?
of the old Mission Impossible theme?
Yeah, Emerson, if you could
No.
like speak louder or something.
Yeah.
Um, it's really cringy. Like, I don't know. Yeah, I don't know. They're trying to make it too cool, and it's not that cool. It's just about the stunts at this point, right? Is that all we care about for Mission Impossible?
I mean,
Basically.
you got to look at Henry Cavill's mustache clearly in this one.
Yeah. I will say though that female chick that was in the last one, forget her name, but she kind of looks like a female Leaf Schreiber. She's in the trailer a lot. You know what I'm talking about?
Hmm.
Does he run her over?
I don't know. He like talks to her the whole trailer.
Yeah.
You guys are really lively.
Well,
Should
no,
I just do
like
this episode myself?
Well, I
Okay,
can't tell
yes,
if
Kia, that was
I'm.
yeah, I know who you're talking about. All
I
right,
don't know
so
who
I
you're
was
talking
thinking,
about.
I mean, I've seen the
okay,
Mission Impossible movies, but I haven't seen them in a
okay,
long
well,
time.
let me just say that it seems like Everett seems to know and you don't know, and I can't tell based on either reaction what either of you know. So maybe spark up a
Are
little
you
bit.
referring to the woman from the last movie who was like an anti-hero the whole
Yes,
time?
as I said when I first introduced the topic, the woman from the last movie.
Okay,
Yes.
yeah, yes, the
I
woman
vaguely
he's talking
remember, but I
to
don't
in
really
Paris and
remember
stuff.
her. Yeah, it's
Oh
the
my
one he
God,
runs
Emerson,
over.
you need to fix your connection, dude.
I can't.
Um,
That's why I'm not talking.
so we have. I feel like she's a good villain for like a Black Widow movie. Um,
Yeah, I'd
I
agree with
I think
that.
she's too good for the Mission Impossible movies.
How many Mission Impossible
Anyway,
movies have they made by now?
I think this is like the fifth or sixth one.
Because I remember the old ones, like the old virusy ones, where they had like the virus on the plane, and then they had like the fake
He was like a
faces and
real secret
stuff.
agent. Yeah.
Yeah, it's been going on a long time.
Um, and then the Venom trailer. I was sitting with Jade, and when she saw it, she thought it was Mad Max, which kind of tells you how bad of a job they did portraying the Venom part of that movie.
I mean, I'm not gonna
Um,
lie. I actually enjoyed that trailer more on the big screen than I did on my computer when I first saw it, because I noticed a lot of the things that I had missed before. Like I noticed the ship that you told me about that I missed. I noticed the symbiote taking over for the first time, and then a couple other details.
I don't think it's necessarily a bad trailer. It's just the look of Venom is so essential to getting that character right, is how he looks. And if you're going to make a Venom movie, all anyone really cares about is how he looks, not what accent does Tom Hardy have and what's his backstory. Like, no one cares. We just want to see a glimpse of something. So,
I mean,
I don't, it's so obvious why, is because they don't have, um, their CGI is not done, right?
probably. I mean, they're getting there, and
It comes out
it
in October.
based on the logo, it looks like they're going for the original look of Venom. Like, hopefully, they're not going to pull like a Spider-Man 3 in multiple ways.
Well, yeah, I mean, they could go for the original look, but will the CGI be good enough to where it doesn't look stupid? Because it has to look
Let's
scary.
hope.
But you can make Venom look like a monster. So,
I mean,
I don't know.
my fear is that they make him look like a monster, and then they do what they did in Spider-Man 3, and they give Tom Hardy more face time than they do Venom.
I have a feeling that he's he's gonna wear the symbiote suit in some of the clips we saw. It's just not like the CGI hasn't been put in. Like there's a lot of there's a lot of clips where people are falling over from seemingly nothing. Did you guys notice that?
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
So, yeah, I don't know. Um, anyway, did you guys also see the Ant-Man and the Wasp trailer?
I
Yes.
did.
It's cool to see on the big screen. I'm still really excited for that movie. I think Evangeline Lilly is going to be one of the best female characters.
Mm-hmm.
Did either of you guys see it in 3D? This movie?
No.
No, I didn't.
Did you see it in IMAX?
I just saw it
Yes.
in normal 2D.
Okay, yeah. I saw it in IMAX twice so far.
Was it worth it?
Yeah, I mean IMAX is always worth it. It's the IMAX 3D pairing that is not worth it. I hate 3D, so this time I was like I'm not doing 3D, and I'm glad because I can actually see the action, and my eyes don't hurt after. And like I don't know. I
Mm-hmm.
guess I'm missing the added depth, but I don't really care. All right, let's talk about this. First of all, the humor in this movie was way better than what we're used to from Marvel movies. I would say because they went for more contextual humor instead of the one-liners. Instead of trying to be funny, like it's just funny. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I noticed the cast had really good chemistry, which is one of the reasons why I gave as high a grade as I did.
Yeah. Um, for example, when she calls her artificial shoes sneakers, so, the silent shoes, like
Hmm.
that's a funny joke. That's not you write that, you write the scene first and then you write the joke. You don't say, okay, insert joke here, like those like Avengers: Age of Ultron, you know, um,
Hmm.
or The Last Jedi, which was God, that movie sucked ass. Um, so did you like the humor in here?
Yeah, I
Yeah.
liked it. There were a few
All right.
moments that I didn't laugh along with the rest of the audience, but I definitely saw the humor. I really liked the banter between T'Challa and his sister. I felt like that was like the most genuine out of like most of it. But I also kind of
Yeah,
felt like you noticed that Andy Serkis kind of seemed like he was trying too hard.
kind of. I couldn't get over how much of a freak he looked like. Like his face is so weird.
I mean,
Yeah.
I don't. I was trying to like piece that together. Like, did he go nuts after Ultron ripped his arm off, or
Well, he seemed to be having fun. I mean, think about it. He sort of got away with. I mean, he survived Ultron, right? And
mm-hmm,
then he got this badass new arm, and the Avengers are gone, or like split up and whatever, fractured. So he's kind of had free reign, it appears, right?
sort of, I guess,
He seems to be living it up, and I mean, the way he walks into that party club in
in
South
Korea?
Korea, yeah, he just like walks in. You think a guy like that would be hiding? I don't know if the movie producers thought of that or what, but I think he's had free reign for a little while,
I did laugh at
at
one
least a
moment
week.
when he broke into the museum and kills everyone, and then the one guy he goes, "You can go free, but don't tell anyone." The guy starts running and he shoots him in the back. I laughed out loud at that scene.
What was the biggest laugh in your theater?
Biggest laugh in my theater would I mean there weren't really a lot. That was one. There was one Michael B. Jordan had a couple lines that made people laugh a little bit, like when he says,
The
"Hey
auntie one.
auntie." Yeah, "Hey
Yeah,
auntie." Yeah, that one was one of them.
that was more of like a got you kind of joke. The one
Uh
that got the biggest laugh for me was when she says, "Don't sneak up on me like that, colonizer."
Yeah.
I'm trying to think. The sneakers one was pretty good too. Um,
The broken white
yeah,
boy.
or the did he
yeah.
freeze
The broken
like an
white boy.
antelope in headlights?
That's funny too. The broken white boy. So that was a reference to Winter Soldier, right?
Yeah.
Uh-huh.
Yeah. Um, all right. So let's talk about a couple of the things that we didn't like. For me, one of the disappointing aspects of this movie was the Black Panther CGI. A lot of the times when he
Yes.
was moving, it was just really bad. It was bad.
Yeah.
Did you
Yeah, I
notice
can
that,
agree
Fred?
with that. Yeah, I noticed that.
I
I kind
agree
of liked that though.
100%.
Like I liked the way they designed the suit and stuff.
No, not the suit design. The way he moved was rubbery. It reminded me of like Superman Returns type of
Yeah.
CGI, like that
It,
era, like the early 2000s.
Yeah, okay.
not
I
great.
see
They
I see
had
what
no
you're
weight
talking
to them,
about.
and it didn't even look good. Like the lighting, they were like soft and rubbery.
I mean, did
Um,
you at least change your mind about the suit design? Because remember, you were having a lot of thoughts about how, oh, if the suit has no eyes, that's not going to be good.
um, I didn't care for the suit design in this one. I prefer the Civil War suit by a lot. I mean, I
I
like
mean,
the
they had it
kinetic
there for like a
energy
split
part,
second.
but yeah, no, I mean it looked great. It was still way better when he's in that jungle scene and he's like talking to people. He looks so menacing.
Yeah.
I didn't get that from the other ones.
Yeah.
How about? Well, I mean the yellow one wasn't bad, but he didn't wear it. Um, so Everett, you said you had some things that put you off the movie.
Yeah, there were a couple things like, man, like, I'm trying to remember a couple of the things that Michael B. Jordan said kind of made me feel a little like uncomfortable. Like it kind of took me out of the scene.
Because he hated white
Okay.
people.
Well, no, not because he hated white people, because I had been watching a movie that's like all very tribal and very like old fashionedy, like very African tribe esque. They had like
Yeah.
the accent, they had like all the that kind of stuff. And then Michael B. Jordan comes in, he's like, like kind of get like gangster, not ghetto gangster, but kind of like that. Kind of took me
Whoa,
out
whoa,
a
whoa.
little bit.
Let's not get racist here.
Well, no, no, no. I'm not trying to be racist. I'm saying like,
Everett didn't like the slavery analogies.
no, no, no. You know what I mean, though, right? Like the slang he used and stuff.
I'm just making you uncomfortable.
Yeah. No, but
Yeah, I mean, he was an outsider. That was the point, right? I think they intentionally made him that way.
um,
What
and
else? What
the
else
way
didn't you like?
Andy Serkis act kind of put me off a little bit.
I liked Andy
Yeah.
Serkis.
I liked him, but I felt like he was a little too goofy. Like there was no explanation for it either. Like I get that he had free reign, but I kind
He's
of
a
expected
nut.
him to be as menacing he was in as he was in Ultron.
I was surprised that he got killed.
Yeah.
That Marvel
Yeah,
was
that
willing to let him go.
that surprised me.
I hope he doesn't come back though. That would really diminish it.
Yeah. Um,
Um, anything else you didn't like, Everett?
No, not really. I mean, nah, not really. The rest of it I kind of
What did we
tolerated or liked.
what what did we think about that history sequence that started the movie?
I liked it.
Yeah,
It wasn't
I thought it
bad.
was interesting. I mean, the whole movie kind of had that aesthetic, like not really like hologram, but like magnetic
The
build.
sand, yeah.
Yeah, the sand.
Um, so I got the art book the night before and I was flipping through it. I spoiled one of the movie's plot points for myself, where that he uh, that he loses the tribal battle. Um, but I didn't know like which one and when. But um, I did know that there was going to be a flashback to T'Chaka. I had assumed though that it was going to be him fighting in the jungle scene. I thought that was
Hmm.
T'Chaka because the gear looked a little old. Um, but they did well with all that exposition in the beginning. Um, and then what did you guys think about that Oakland flashback?
Which
I,
one?
I liked the first one.
The first one, yeah.
I liked it.
It
King
was.
T'Chaka was a sort of like a caricature.
Yeah.
His
And
mask looked cool though. I didn't really care for the sash he was wearing, but
Yeah.
I mean, in the book it talks about how. Oh, sorry, I remember what I was gonna say about the history part. Their five tribes, they control specific parts of Wakanda, which you only hear that once when when they're saying there will be no challengers. They call themselves the River Tribe. So there's like a River Tribe, a mining tribe, a political tribe, and two others. I don't remember, but and they're all color coded. So like the river one is green, um, the blue one was those are the security ones, I think.
the
Hmm.
The
ones that
red ones are
rebel
the
against him.
mining. Yeah, yeah, and
I'm not
they're
gonna.
like they're the farmers that pose. I mean, they pose as farmers, but they're
Mhm.
really like security, border security.
Okay.
I mean, I thought that stuff was kind of cool.
What'd you
It's
think
world
of
building.
What'd you think of Manape? Because I didn't expect him to be the way he was in this movie.
M'Baku.
Yeah.
Um, the thing about M'Baku, which that first fight I thought was a little underwhelming.
Yeah.
The ritual fight with
Hmm.
M'Baku, because as a fighter, I look at why does someone win, and what advantages does each person have, and M'Baku clearly has the size and strength, right, and T'Challa has speed and skill, and that's not really how the fight went though. Like in Game of Thrones when they had the Mountain versus the Viper,
Hmm.
like that could have been an opportunity for this movie to show you, a shorter version of skill versus power, and instead it was more like I had a problem with the fights a lot where their pacing wasn't right, because what you'll see in this movie is one guy will beat another guy will beat the other guy back, and then suddenly it's over. Like you don't really get there's always a pattern to fighting and a rhythm, and there are signs of who's going to win the whole time. And in this movie, it's just like, okay, time for the fight to end. So then the winning move happens, and it's like,
Yeah.
well, where did that even come from? And so if you're gonna do, in a superhero movie, I'm like, okay, they're not gonna have authentic fighting, but if you're gonna do one-on-one battles, and if you're the director of Creed, I feel like you should have done better. By the way, here's one thing I don't like about M'Baku. I like how he's more traditionalist and how he scoffs at Shuri and all that, but M'Baku gets beaten with a jujitsu move. And
What, the
not only is
armbar?
it a jujitsu move, it's like a triangle armbar, but it's not even applied correctly.
Yeah.
And not even is it not applied correctly, it's not even applied at an angle where it would do anything.
Yeah, I was
Like
gonna mention
it's
that. It
not
kind of. I was
it's
gonna say
not
it
like
kind
he
of
got it
looked like he was
wrong.
off the.
It's nothing. There's no move at all.
Yeah. I
And
was looking at that
s-
and wondering.
so okay, he comes out. I mean, this is M'Baku. First of all, he's a little flabby. Like maybe that's what they were going for, but I wasn't exactly impressed. In my experience, that guy would get tired in 30 seconds. So I was just like, okay, that didn't scare me. Like I wasn't worried about T'Challa. And then he taps to a non-move. It's like that's so funny about Hollywood because in jujitsu, the longer you stay in a move doesn't mean it gets worse. You either have it or you don't. You know what I mean? And
Yeah.
if it gets worse, it means you changed it. It's you don't just sit in a move and there he's like, oh, I can't get out. Okay, I give up. Like whoever wrote that and whoever choreographed it, I don't think they've ever done it for real in their life because it's just stupid. Um,
Did you guys
anyway,
realize that he was gonna
uh,
get thrown off the waterfall eventually?
Not
you
really.
mean the second time in the second fight?
Yeah.
I mean,
Sort of. Go ahead.
no, go on.
God damn it, we talked about this. Stop
I was
doing that.
fine. I was gonna say in the first one, like when you're talking about him doing the armbar, it kind of looked like T'Challa had the lower hand. Like he looked like he was halfway off the waterfall and could have been easily pushed off.
I think they
Did you
both
know?
could have easily gone right off, yeah.
But no, I didn't see
But
it the
here's the
second
thing.
time.
Talking about that second fight, again, I think we saw some cool moments. That fight was a little bit better. So I wonder if the fault of the first fight not really measuring up is because of the actor of M'Baku or maybe his stunt guy. I don't know. Maybe they couldn't make it work with those guys. But with Killmonger and T'Challa, that was a really good fight. Um, you saw a lot of back and forth, a lot of jostling. Killmonger starts to get the better of T'Challa. He cuts him a couple times, right?
Yeah.
But here's where I would critique this. He stabs him. He cuts his leg. He cuts his stomach, and this happens very quickly, like in quick succession, right? And then the third stab comes almost as quick as the first two, and so you have this back and forth fight, and then bam, all of a sudden it's over. And I don't think they were going for this sudden victory type thing. I think they were trying to establish that Killmonger was a lot stronger. But when you do it that fast, I'm like watching the fight to see who wins, and it's like, because in a movie you can only go by the rules that they set up. So in this movie, we can understand that you can get cut, but that doesn't mean you're gonna lose, right? But in another movie, a cut means you're gonna die, right? So in this movie, T'Challa gets cut like 3 times before he gets stabbed, and I don't feel the pressure building. I don't feel like T'Challa's in danger because the cuts have been shown. When someone cuts you, that doesn't mean anything, right?
Hmm.
Um, and so I was just like, okay, like him. I didn't see him losing coming. I obviously knew he was going to lose, but I didn't see it coming at that moment because it just came at the wrong time for me. They could have done a little bit more with that.
Too
Um,
quick.
yeah, and then throwing him off, like I think that's a good scene though, very powerful,
Yeah.
and more to what I was saying about how heroes have to lose a lot in order to win.
Like they have to lose. That's how the fans, the audience, they like get behind the character. If imagine if T'Challa had won that one, and so Killmonger comes back with another plan in the third act. He's still a threat, right? Like that would not be nearly as interesting. Um, and I think that's part of the reason that M'Baku's fight wasn't as interesting because you never really got the sense that he was in trouble, other than he might fall off the cliff. But M'Baku certainly wasn't going to beat him. Um, One thing I didn't like about the Killmonger fight was right before they really telegraph. I don't know if you guys thought this because I knew what was going to happen, but I was still curious about the setup. But like Shuri says, he'll never beat T'Challa. It's like based on what? He's clearly the most qualified challenger to come across, and you didn't say that about M'Baku. So you're just like you're right now. You're saying he'll never beat him. Well, I know he's not going to kill him, but it's weird that you said that like for your character to say that right there. Did you guys like get tipped off at
Yeah.
that point?
Well,
A little
he
bit.
had to lose for the story to move forward.
But at the same time, you
Yeah,
realize that he's not gonna die. So
you're right. Um, so I did like that he loses the crown, but let's talk about some of the I don't know what else to call it. Let's just say bullshit that T'Challa pulls to to continue the fight. What the hell was that? He lost. It's like I didn't say I quit, so it's not over.
Yeah, he comes back.
It's like dude, you got thrown off. The challenge is over. Like let's not embarrass ourselves with you still trying to win.
And everyone thinks he's
It's
right.
yeah, yeah, that's the part of the movie where I was like kind of cringing in my seat like okay, I guess we're going to go with this, but he really did lose. Like he's
Yeah.
not the king. He's not the king. And this is kind of wrong. Everything he's doing is against tradition, and like no one should support this. Um, and they're only really supporting him because he's such a great guy, which I don't even know that he is, because his dad says he has a good heart and all that. But can we talk about? Do you guys think Wakanda should have been helping other African people?
I feel
Depends
like
what you
it.
mean by helping.
Well, I forget the guy's name, but the Get Out guy, he makes a good point where he says you bring in the refugees, and their problems come with them. And we've seen that, like with the Paris thing right now, where the refugees are kind of tearing Paris apart. It's like, oh, it wasn't where they came from; it was them. um,
Damn.
so, he brings a good point. It's like, okay, yeah, maybe we shouldn't do that. On the other hand, look at everything that's going on in Africa, all the genocide. Look at all the civil unrest that's been going on in the United States since the 50s, and the slavery and all that. Um, you know, should they have done something? What do you guys think?
I mean, what should they have invaded? I don't know. Like, that's
I
what
mean,
I'm
I
saying.
get
What can they do?
I get their logic for staying isolated, but I feel yeah, I do kind of agree with you. I do kind of feel like they should have at least done something, at least like minuscule to help other third world countries.
Well, remember, if they do something, they basically reveal that they're not just a bunch of farmers, and
Yeah.
so then that compromises Wakanda. Now they could probably, if they had tried to, let's say they stepped in around Martin Luther King, that era. Let's say they're like, all right, we're taking over. Black people are coming to the top. They probably could have taken over the whole world at that point, right?
Yeah.
But
Probably.
what would you do with the whole world? Are you going to police it? Are you going to make black people first class citizens and everyone else like, what are you going to do? And to me, it's unfeasible. Like, you have to stay Wakanda. Wakanda is this precious gem. They got lucky. Preserve it. And that sucks about, all the African people that need help. But they're sending out spies. And, the reality is people need to help themselves. You can help people help themselves, but you can't help people.
Right.
And like stuff happening in Nigeria. Nigeria needs to get its act together. and then maybe Wakanda can bring them in. But Wakanda isn't can't fix them by bringing them in. You know what I mean?
Right, because
Hmm.
people are a product of the environment, and so
Right.
yeah.
So in this case, Killmonger wants to expand and bring freedom back to black people, power back to black people. You guys agree with him, or?
He wants to. He said the sun never sets on the Wakandan Empire. He wants an empire.
Yeah. Okay. But here's the thing. After T'Challa wins, he decides that he's going to reveal to the world what he's doing, which in a way is what Killmonger wanted, just without the
Violence.
powers. Yeah, and like the extreme amount of control.
Well, I don't
Um,
think Killmonger wanted explicitly to reveal it. I think he wanted to just ship the weapons out to, like all the black people.
but
I
yeah,
don't
but
think he wanted
that's
to
like,
specifically like reveal themselves.
but where did the weapons come from?
I
That's
mean,
gonna, it's gonna turn all eyes on Wakanda.
he did say that there were 3 spies that they were going to give it to. Like they weren't going to just go out there and say like free guns for everyone. They were going to like distribute them like covertly.
Well, he said to cities. He said
Right.
like New York and some
Hong
other
Kong,
places.
And
Yeah.
London, I think.
and London. Yeah.
Yeah, I mean that's okay. So it doesn't happen the next day, but within 2 years, people are gonna know where it's coming from, and Killmonger's not just gonna like hide. He's like, I'm coming for you, all the white people or whatever. Was he against white people? Like, was that his
He never
agenda?
explicitly says it.
But he definitely
Yeah, he
shows
did.
the ambition.
He's definitely for oppressed black people, but is like, does that mean he's gonna fight other Africans who are oppressing? Like in Nigeria, Rwanda, all that stuff.
I don't know.
Um,
They seem to
yeah,
be trying to be careful to not have him say that.
yeah. Um, let's see. That jungle fight at the top of the movie, I felt like the action there was not interesting. Like he's a panther, so you expect him to be lurking in the shadows, pulling people. Remember that first scene in Batman Begins when he attacks them in the warehouse, the shipping
Hmm.
containers?
Yes.
That's more along what I thought was gonna happen in that scene. Like they're not gonna see him coming in the dark. I thought it was really cool though how he stopped the convoy and all that. But
Hmm.
but basically all he did was jump out of the bushes and then stand there and get shot the whole time.
Yeah, I
Yeah.
was
It's
having a
like, okay.
thought. Like after that scene, and after they showed off the new like nanotech, I'm thinking to myself, what's his weakness in his old Civil War suit? Like just the solid vibranium suit. Like what's his weakness? Like pure
I
brute
don't think
strength.
it didn't have a weakness other than um, like mental manipulation and electricity. The widow's bite caught him.
Right? And then with the other one, you have all that plus the sonic stuff.
The kinetic
So
energy. Yeah.
it's and plus it's thinner, and yeah, I get that it's more like accessible, but isn't that kind of like a downgrade almost? Like if you're opening yourself
Well,
up more,
that
why
suit
not just stick with the
seemed
old
to
tech?
disappear a lot. Like in certain situations, it like would go away.
I mean, he would. You mean when he like reveals his face a lot?
Well, and also there's like the wave machines where like when they get hit, part of their armor goes away.
Yeah, but that's like what I'm saying, like because they use
But that
sonic
was the point of
technology
that, though.
to disable the
Yeah,
vibranium so it doesn't like become dangerous.
Yeah,
but
that
would
was the
that work on
point,
his
was to
old suit?
weaken the suit.
His old
Well,
one?
no, it wouldn't work on his old suit because his old suit's like a solid suit. The new one
Well, no,
materializes
that suit was
itself.
vibranium. His old suit is vibranium too. The vibranium would have been what did they call it? Deactivated.
Yeah, but it
Yeah.
wouldn't have like disappeared.
Uh, it might have. I think that was the fibers of the suit pulling apart.
But no, it was the nanotech, wasn't it? Because the way the suit like came like and revealed itself was like, because didn't she say like nanotech like would it fits within the blades of the necklace. That's kind of like what I was
Yeah,
thinking. Like if it's vibranium nanotech, and you put
It may
Sonic
not have
on
been
it.
exactly the same, but I think that that suit would have been weaker um, if the vibranium wasn't active inside the suit. I mean, I think it would have to be weaker.
Well, okay, well,
Um,
in that case, wouldn't that mean like War Machine would be able to kick his ass? Because didn't War Machine have like a Sonic cannon on his arm in Civil War?
yeah, I think so. I don't think Black Panther is like unbeatable. I mean,
Mm.
he's kind of street level.
Yeah.
His best thing is like jumping from like one thing to another. That's like his signature move.
Mm.
And now he has the kinetic thing. He didn't have that in Civil War either. He was basically like he can run and be athletic without having to worry about getting shot. That was basically his character in Civil War, or his power
Hmm.
set. What did you guys think about Lupita Nyong'o as Nakia? We were talking about how we didn't really know who the love interest was going to be, so he has one. I
Yeah.
liked her.
She was good. Yeah.
Yeah, I liked her.
I felt like this movie needed maybe their wedding so that the next one or Infinity War he can have a son. I think that's like he's a character that would benefit from having a family and to think of the family.
I'd
Mm.
like to point out, I feel like they introduced a lot of characters and locales that we're supposed to revisit in Infinity War.
Yeah.
Well, if a lot of people are gonna die in Infinity War, those are definitely some names that are up there.
Um, in the art book, the city has a lot of sections. There's like an arts plaza and like shit like that. Okay, stole the show. Okoye, the general
Oh,
Yeah.
she plays Michonne
of the
from The Walking
Dorma
Dead, right?
Mirage.
Yeah.
I don't watch Walking Dead, but I think you're right.
Yes, she does.
Um, she stole the show.
She was great.
Yeah, she kicked
Yeah,
ass.
yeah. I would buy an action figure of her to be honest. Um, so here's the thing. Having watched The Crown, Emerson, did you watch The Crown?
No, I haven't started it yet.
I don't remember if I mentioned on this podcast how good of a show that was. The Crown on Netflix about the British monarchy. Um, in that show, the coronation of the death of King Edward and the coronation of Queen Elizabeth was so well done and serious and heavy. This movie barely touches on the fact that their king was blown to death not a week earlier. I mean, don't you think that's weird?
Yeah.
I mean,
If you watch The
I
Crown,
didn't even catch that Civil War was literally a week from this
it
movie.
was 10 days. It said 10 days at this, when he's watching the news clip at the start of the movie. Um, if you watch The Crown, like when the king dies, people go into mourning, and Wakanda is a tribe, and their leader just died, and people are just walking down the street like buying chicken or whatever they were doing,
Yeah.
watching YouTube. I was just like, okay, that was a big missed opportunity to do that. And then the Queen, what's her name? The famous actress, black
I
actress.
don't know
Can't
her
remember her
name.
name.
Angela Bassett?
Yeah, Angela Bassett. She is like so happy for T'Challa. She's like, this is your moment. Like the audience is supposed to be excited for T'Challa to become king. What I learned from The Crown is that heavy is the head that wears the crown.
Yeah.
Like that is a terrible job. He should be shitting bricks. He should be super nervous. Like,
Well,
and
I
the
feel
other
like
thing
he
is,
was
don't you think
nervous
it's
at the beginning, wasn't he?
he was nervous like because his dad died. He's like, I'm nervous to be without you, but to mention like what does it mean to be the king? They like the theme of the movie is what kind of king will he be? But there is so much responsibility in being the sovereign. So much responsibility. Not only that, he should be protected. Don't you think it's weird that he's allowed to be Black Panther
Yeah, and he like goes to foreign countries.
on missions, like on bullshit missions?
Yeah.
Like he's gonna go undercover at a nightclub. The king
Yeah,
Yeah,
that
he
is a
was
send
little too
someone
just on
soon.
else.
TV. He was just on TV from the UN, and he goes undercover.
Yeah, and I was like, okay, I guess they don't recognize him. Okay, I'll go with that. But the fact that he's allowed to just go and the general is like his partner. The general is not his bodyguard. Like that's weird. Don't you like she should be like stuck to him and he should not be able to do things, you know? Um, and I feel like the character should have been upset at that. He's like, I had a role as the Black Panther. I was an effective member of society. I knew what my job was. And now you're telling me I can't do the things that I know how to do. You want me to sit down and talk when I could just take out my claws and do damage? I mean, isn't that way more interesting?
Yeah.
I'm not saying I wasn't entertained by the movie, but I think that was a angle they should have explored. Um,
Hmm.
and it seems like T'Chaka was also Panther and King, which it's the problem here is they want to get to the end of the movie where he's like, Wakanda is going to start reaching out to the rest of the world, and as King, I'm going to do that. But
Well, I
as
mean,
King, he's also Black Panther.
there's no
So
way that in Civil War King T'Chaka was Black Panther. He obviously gave the mantle to his son. There's no way
right,
at that age he
right.
was Black Panther.
And isn't that interesting because we never really hear about how one becomes a Black Panther. We saw how they become king, and the movie in this scenario considers it the same thing, but it's not. You can't, like you said, T'Chaka eventually said, "Okay, I'm not Black Panther anymore." So how did he choose a new one? Is it just the king's choice?
I guess he gave it to. I guess he gave it to his son because he assumed that his son would eventually take the mantle one day.
S- yeah, I know, but then that's weird. Like I want to see that. The movie's called
Yeah.
Black Panther, not King of Wakanda. Um, and I would like to see two different dynamics. One where he takes the throne and has to choose someone else and watch them become Black Panther, and two, another one where he gives up the throne, he abdicates, which is like one of the worst things you could do. Another lesson I learned from the ground, and he abdicates and remains Black Panther, and he watches someone else be king, probably the Get Out guy, and that Get Out guy starts doing things that he doesn't agree with.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, that
That's
makes
it. That
sense.
would be another interesting way to go, but they didn't do it. Um, and yeah, so you want to get to the end where he's the king and he says like Wakanda's reaching out, but I feel like, and I want to talk about the end here. Let's say we agree that he lost the challenge and he's not the king. Okay? So I feel like in the third act he should come not to continue the challenge where they keep adding this dialogue to force this contrived notion that the challenge is still going. It's like, listen, if you go home and change your clothes, the fight is over, dude. You don't get to
Yeah.
come back all
And he
healed
gets
up.
the power back too.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah,
what
it's
does
like
that
seriously?
mean? Like, now that all those flowers are gone, does that mean if he somehow loses his power, that's it? He's done?
I think they can regrow it. But it's not just that. It's okay, so let's say he comes back and let's say he finally takes the loss like a man and isn't trying to weasel his way back into the challenge. Let's say that he says to Killmonger, "I'm not here for the throne. I'm here to save Wakanda." And he's being the Black Panther, the protector. He's doing what he believes is right. It's not about who's king anymore. It's not about winning back the crown. It's about I'm not letting you wage war on the world in Wakanda's name. And so he should fight Killmonger on that level. He doesn't win the throne, but he wins the battle, right? The next battle.
Hmm.
And so he still lost the war though, where he's not the king. So I think it would have been way more interesting if after he beats Killmonger, but the throne either goes to Shuri or or maybe someone challenges her. You know what I'm saying? And
Yeah.
like maybe the movie could have ended on that. Like who
You
is
know
the
what I
king?
don't
And it would have been
understand?
the Get Out guy.
Okay,
Go ahead.
Well, you know what I don't understand? They did make a mention that there is a possibility of a queen of Wakanda. Why didn't his mother just become queen?
Uh, the queen. That's not another lesson from The Crown. That doesn't work. It doesn't work that way.
Okay.
She doesn't. She's the queen, but she's the queen mother. It goes down to the next generation, the next
Okay.
the child. So if T'Challa dies and he doesn't have a son, then there's like another hierarchy. But if he does have a son, Shuri doesn't become queen, and his wife wouldn't stay queen. She would become queen mother, and his baby would be the king.
can I just say about the flowers? Do you
Uh-huh.
guys think that's connected to the Infinity Stone?
No.
No, I was kind of surprised we didn't see that in Infinity Stone at all.
I'm actually
But
really
I'm
happy
happy
with
we
what
didn't.
they. I'm really happy with what they did because what they did with that flower and like the whole like other realm. That's exactly how it is in the comics, and I'm not. I'm surprised that they actually stayed as true as
Doesn't
to
he
that.
eat a heart in the comics though?
No, it's a plant. He eats a
Is it
plant
a
and
plant?
gains the knowledge of all the other Black Panthers, which is in that sense is kind of true because he can talk to any Black Panther
Was it
that he
ever a
wants.
heart though? Like, did they retcon that?
It wasn't a. No, that was Manape.
'Cause-
Manape ate the heart and flesh of the apes to gain the power.
oh, oh, okay. Yeah, I thought I read about someone eating something. um, yeah, I just feel like he shouldn't have gotten the throne back. He gave it up, or he lost it, and I guess he could challenge again if that's within the Wakandan rules, or they need to find a new person. Um, I mean, I don't. The movie was kind of long, and I don't know that what else they could have cut out to make room for that. So I don't. Maybe that could have been a cliffhanger or something, or in the next movie, and we leave it in limbo. Um, but you have to remember that we also already have seen the trailer for Infinity War where he's king, so it's like, you know.
Yeah. No real.
It's like watching
Um,
a whole like prequel movie. Like he has massive plot armor.
Yeah, yeah. I thought Shuri was great. I thought she was really funny and
Yeah.
interesting. And you know they say she's smarter than Tony Stark, like according to the Marvel database.
Well, I'm assuming that's how they make the bleeding edge armor in Infinity War is with her help.
Yeah, I wonder, like, is that where he's gonna get that from? Is it gonna be a leap in Wakandan technology for him? Um,
Maybe.
what'd you guys think of Michael B. Jordan as Killmonger and Jabu?
I liked him.
He was
He was great.
okay.
You didn't. What didn't you like, Emerson?
I don't know. I didn't. It was the plot point. I didn't like how he knew everything about Wakanda the whole time. I thought it was going to be him discovering it, but he knew about it. He was Wakandan. His dad told him every little thing.
What's wrong with that?
I don't know. I just it just struck me like a weird way, and he just seemed out of place. I know that's the point, but he was a
Yeah,
good
well,
actor.
but I think
but
the actor did a good job with
yeah,
what
as an
he
actor, he was good.
was asked to do. I also liked Andy Serkis. I liked him in Age of Ultron too.
Yeah,
I liked him better in Age of Ultron than I did in this movie because in Age of Ultron he actually seemed like serious. In this one he just
The
was
only thing
kind
I
of
don't
like,
like about Age of Ultron with him, there's a stupid line in that movie, where he's talking to Quicksilver and Scarlet Witch, and he's talking about how they're not making him think of cuttlefish, and he knows he's not talking to the boss, and it's not Andy Serkis' fault. It's just a stupid line, but every time I think of that character, I picture that, and so like kind of
Cuttlefish.
weakens it for me.
cuttlefish.
Cuttlefish.
Yeah, cuttlefish. Okay, so we thought that Killmonger was going to be part of his own tribe, of some
Yeah.
tiger tribe or something, or jaguar tribe. So he's not. He was a panther. It was just gold.
Well,
So
He's an American guy. Yeah.
but it doesn't make sense though because that suit had the Jaguar design on it.
it had like leopard spots on it.
Yeah. Which is a
But,
Jaguar
yeah, I mean-
essentially.
But that was designed for T'Challa.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, I
So-
guess so because I mean, isn't that kind of like what his dad's suit kind of looked like? like that gold a little bit. Had a little bit
T'Challa's
of gold
dad.
in there.
Well, T'Challa's dad had gold. Yeah. Um, yeah, I haven't got to the part in the art book yet because I've been busy packing about. Um, I just got to Killmonger, so I didn't get to see the concept art for what else they were gonna do. Uh, they went with some weird. They had some weird designs for Black Panther that I didn't like. Like I said, I prefer the Civil War one, but they had it like with his ears back, almost like a bobsledding helmet or a luge helmet. You know what I mean? Where it's like
Yeah.
Hmm.
streaked back. He had ears like that. I didn't like it. Um, for me, the movie peaked in Busan, the South Korea scenes.
Yeah.
The
Yeah,
the,
you said.
the, the chase sequence was great.
It was
Yeah, you
amazing.
said earlier like what was one of the big laughs in my theater. I remember another one. It was when their car crashes and she just like skits up, still holding the wheel.
Yeah, yeah. That was a big laugh for me too. Yeah. Um, the action there was just great all around. He made good use of his kinetic energy. Um, Black Panther wasn't even overly used in it. Like he was kind of an equal part of that scene. Everyone was pulling their weight there. Um, I really like the scene when Claw's trapped and he's describing how much of a fraud Wakanda is.
Yeah.
You know, I like that. And when they're listening in, they're like, Jesus. Um, what was it that Nakia saw on the screen that tipped her off that something was going on in the alley?
It
I
It
was
was
saw like
that
a
something.
fuzzy thing.
it was that she noticed that the camera feed was looped.
I've seen it twice and I don't see the loop. Like I figured that's what was happening, but
I
I
mean,
just
it
didn't see
happened
it.
once. It happened once in the museum, which you could plainly see it happening, and then it happened there. It happened like for a split second. You saw like someone walk by, and then it skits, and then you see them walk by again. That's when she asks, "Where is that?" And then you see it like skid out again.
Oh, okay. What do you guys think of Martin Freeman as Everett Ross?
I
I
liked him.
liked him in this movie. Kind
He
of makes
was
me
he
think that
was
he's going to
just
be
fine.
more like integrated with Wakanda now. Now that he's like done stuff with them.
Are you familiar with Everett Ross, Everett?
Yeah, we're best friends, but
No, are you familiar with the character from the comics?
kinda, but not really. I mean, I know he plays minor and major parts in the comics, but not a lot.
In the
I
Christopher Priest run, he's basically he's like what T'Challa comes to America and he's sort of like an ambassador where he's really just an escort. He like
hmm
shows him around town or whatever, and he's a normal guy. He's not CIA or whatever. And so he's just as T'Challa's doing all this crazy shit, he's like hiding in the bathroom. He's kind of comedic relief, which so I think that's why they picked Martin Freeman, but they gave him a little more presence. Um, but I thought he was right on point. He just doesn't look American.
yeah.
Yeah.
He has a British face.
Something I
So when
didn't
they're
really
like stupid
understand though.
Americans, uh-huh.
Well, okay, think about it. So you said that Civil War was 10 days ago in this movie time. That
Yeah.
would mean
I
that
didn't say that. The movie said that.
okay. Well, the movie said that. I didn't hear it, so you said it. So I'm taking that. If it happened 10 days ago, and Everett Ross was dealing with the whole Zemo situation off in Germany, and then
Russia.
or was it Russia? Because he
That's
he
what
had
it
to handle that
ends.
whole situation like with him. Then immediately he goes and does the deal with Claw. Like, how does that work? Like, he's not
I
still
mean,
sweeping up that situation.
I buy it. You know, a lot of things are going on. You should see my job. All the meetings that are like crammed together in 2 days. And,
All right, I'll take it at face value.
do you remember the scene where they say that Zemo is apprehended?
Yeah, that was at the beginning.
Yeah, that's right when they say that it was 10 days ago.
Oh, okay.
They literally say the line before that. They're like 10 days ago, and the suspect has since been apprehended. Um,
I remember seeing his
so
face like on the screen.
yeah, another scene I didn't really buy was when the women went to go give M'Baku the flower.
Hmm.
First of all, the CGI there was terrible. There's like the sheer amount of green screen was just like
Yeah.
whatever. Were you guys blown away when you saw Wakanda for the first time?
Not really.
I'm
I mean,
desensitized to CGI landscape. I just don't care. My eyes don't even care to look. I'm just like, I see the whole picture. I can't focus on anything because I know it's not real, and I know that you're not meant to look at the little details. It's just it's just so fake. I don't know. I just don't
I kind of
care at
felt
all.
like they were hyping it up because right as you see it, like he's like, "Oh, this never gets old."
Yeah, yeah. And maybe if Wonder Woman hadn't done like that exact thing, maybe I would have been a
Yeah.
little more impressed. But I mean, you guys know what I'm talking about, right? Remember in Wonder Woman?
No, when they, yeah, of course.
Wait.
It's exactly the same thing.
Yeah, they come
um,
in Wonder Woman through the shield, and then exactly the same thing in this movie.
yeah.
Oh
So I
yeah.
thought the writing was a little clunky. Like they're walking to M'Baku, they're already at the mountain, and then the queen is like, "Wait, I changed my mind," and then they discuss it so that you know what's going on, and then they just keep going again, and then you
Yeah.
get to M'Baku, and okay, so I guess he's a nice guy because he gives T'Challa life, even though T'Challa spared him from that non-existent hold he had him in, and so it's like, okay, I'm really suspending my disbelief here that he spared your life, but sure, um, that's really nice of you to give up like the greatest power on earth for a human to attain, and he, just because so you owe him a debt, and then he shows up later to help him fight. I just don't buy it. Like I just don't buy M'Baku is that kind of guy. I don't know.
Yeah, not really.
Yeah.
And I think the only reason he came was mainly. I mean, what about all the traditionalist stuff? Like he still hates all of that. T'Challa didn't do anything to alleviate his concerns.
Well, he
So
doesn't like the
why?
foreigner.
Yeah, but didn't he? Didn't at the end of the movie wasn't he like wasn't M'Baku in the throne room with them?
I didn't notice.
I didn't
I
either.
think he was. I don't know. What I thought it was just sort of out of character, and I only say sort of because he didn't really have a character. He was this mean, angry, giggly guy that
Yeah.
was that was an outcast, but also loyal to T'Challa. I don't know. Um, whatever. Um, okay, so here's the thing for me. This movie is like a reverse Lion King. Did you guys catch that? In
Kinda.
which Simba is the bad guy.
Hmm.
Do you see it?
I didn't think of that. I see it now.
And like and so here's why the movie fails on a certain level because I have two big problems. One problem is leaving Killmonger as a child just doesn't really make sense to me. You, does that bother you guys?
That a small child was just left on the street with nowhere to go. Yeah, that bothers me.
But not just that, it's their justification. So remember in The Lion King has one part of the movie that's just total bullshit. And it's when Scar convinces Simba that Mufasa's death was his fault, and Simba just keeps this to himself and actually feels the guilt, even though logic would means like, wait a second, I didn't make the will the beast run, you know? And it wasn't just that. It wasn't just that his actions got him killed. If you guys remember, Scar has Simba convinced that he's the one that killed Mufasa on his actions, and that's why Simba is so guilt-ridden. And then he
Hmm.
even admits it when he's like fighting Scar at Scar Rock or whatever. What was that
Pride
rock
Rock.
called? Pride Rock, yeah. And
Scar Rock.
yeah, I think Scar renamed it. He like graffitied his name or whatever. But um, he like says it in front of everyone. He's like, I one who killed Mufasa." It's like, no, you didn't. And this whole plot has been contrived on the fact that you believe you did, but you really didn't, and you shouldn't, and it doesn't make sense.
I mean,
It's
he
like that one part of
influenced
the
his
movie.
death.
Not even that. I mean, as a grown man, you got to look at that and be like, all right, I had nothing to do with this. But it's that one part of the movie you just sort of accept so that it goes along with the rest. So in this movie, It's the part where he leaves Killmonger that doesn't really make sense because his father, his T'Chaka's brother, was a traitor to Wakanda, right? And there's proof. What's his name? Zuri was there, right? By the way, did you guys give a shit when Zuri died?
I did, kinda. I liked him.
I liked him, but it was just like
We didn't
the
have
way
enough
he
time to
saved
care.
T'Challa. He saved T'Challa from like his own fate, and then died. And this is the reason why Killmonger doesn't finish the job for some reason. And then that ends up coming back to haunt him. The whole thing just didn't sit right with me. But anyway, Zuri is a witness that Njabu or whatever his name was corrupt and betrayed Wakanda, right? Now, he also tried to kill Zuri, and T'Chaka had to murder his own brother. Okay, so you don't want to talk about that. You don't want to tell Wakanda that you killed your brother. But the son is there, and the brother's still dead. So people are going to ask, where's your brother, right?
I
And he doesn't
guess.
have to lie because his brother is a traitor. He doesn't have to say, uh, I don't know, because it's not like he murdered him in anger and dug his body in the backyard. He killed him because he was saving Zuri. And it was a terrible thing to do, but he put Wakanda first, which is what these people value, right? So
Yeah.
you're telling me you couldn't go back home and say, my brother was a criminal, things went terrible, and look, he has a son, and his son is one of us. Let's treat him like that. Instead, you're going to just leave the kid? And T'Challa's like, how could you do that? But at the same time, he's like, I gotta take it back from him. Why? Like, why? You
Yeah,
got
it
beat,
seems.
first of all. He did lose the fight. And second of all, Killmonger really didn't do anything wrong. I mean, he's sort of like a terrorist, but so was T'Challa. T'Challa, like, does whatever the fuck he wants. He goes to Korea, ruins the whole town. Like, he doesn't care. I mean, is Killmonger really that much worse?
I guess not. On principle, I
And so
suppose.
that's the part. I compare that in The Lion King, where Scar convinces him that he killed Mufasa some stupid way. Here it's like, why are you just causing problems for yourself? The whole thing was totally explainable, you know?
Hmm.
It's like if you're a kid and you break your mom's pottery through a complete accident that really wasn't even your fault, and instead of just saying like, yeah, a bird flew in the window and went right into the pot, instead of telling her the truth, you try to hide it, and it's like, where's the pot? And, it's like, why would you do that? Why would you make it worse? Um, and as a king, it's whatever. And then so the other problem I have is the part where T'Chaka kills his brother. That's the scene where Mufasa dies for Simba. Except it doesn't have nearly the emotional weight that the Mufasa scene does.
Right.
And that's also supposed to that undermines Killmonger a little bit because his dad was a bad guy, right?
Hmm.
And sort of a phony. And so he
Hmm.
undermines, he gets killed, and it's not even that big a deal because he gets killed trying to kill Zuri, who was a good guy. And I don't know. It didn't matter to me. Like, I didn't really care. I was just like, okay, here's a guy. We've only seen him in one room the entire movie, and now he's dead, and he was a bad guy. You know. And the movie also sets him up as like a henchman. Before you realize it's the king's brother, he's sort of like he appears as a henchman. He's not wearing nice clothes, and you know what I mean.
Yeah. Yeah, he
You
seems
don't
like an
believe he's a
average guy.
high-ranking member. Yeah, he's not a high-ranking member of the royal family. Um, so those two things from a storytelling perspective didn't work for me. Um, so that's why I think it would have been better. Take that out. I think Killmonger could have still been Killmonger without the whole killed your father thing.
Mm.
Um, he could have been coming back to Wakanda, still an outsider. He's like, look, I didn't have the opportunity to be raised in Wakanda. My father died. Let's just say he was one of the spies living there, right? Doesn't have to be the king's brother, but maybe it is. And maybe the king's brother was a good guy, not a bad guy. So he has a claim to the throne in a way. You know, there's a period of transition. He wants to challenge. That's fair. And he wins. Even better. Um, T'Challa should have to respect that. But whatever. Um, so what's your guys' favorite moments of the movie?
Um,
The fight in Korea.
yeah, that's
Yeah,
one
but
that I
like what
liked.
part of it? What part of it?
When he uses the like energy pulse on the car.
That's what I was gonna say too. That's my moment. The weird part about that is though, we've seen it in the trailer, both trailers,
Yeah.
and for whatever reason, even though we've seen the stunt and we know how it starts, we know how it ends, just in the context of the movie, that was the most superhero thing he did. Where you're like,
Yeah.
oh, this guy's on another level,
Yeah.
and no one sees it coming. Everett, what was your thing?
Mine was kind of a mix between two scenes. The first one was when T'Challa goes under with the plant and goes to the the Velt that they're talking about, like the realm with all the
The
other Black
ancestral
Panthers.
plane.
And then the other one was when Killmonger does it, but instead of going to that plane, he goes back to the apartment building, and you can still see the skies all purple and stuff outside. But the
Yeah,
implication that like T'Challa goes to the Velt because that's what he was raised to believe, and then Killmonger goes to the apartment because that's like where he grew up. That's like his life based on T'Challa's life. Same place,
right,
different lives connecting it.
right. Um, I I like the ancestral planes. I feel like the best part of the movie, the strongest moment, should have been when he gets thrown off the cliff. But like I said, it came too fast. That sudden turn of the fight came too fast, and then the way he gets spared by Zuri, and like Zuri's death, it's like when you're at a wedding and someone else proposes at the wedding. It sort of like stole the thunder. You know what I mean? Like
Yeah.
of that
Hmm.
moment. It's like okay, Zuri died also, and now Black Panther's getting thrown off a cliff. It's like it's too much in that moment. Um, and what you said, Everett, about Killmonger's ancestral plane scene, you're totally right. Which is why I will follow it up with my least favorite moment, where immediately after you finally see the villain's heart and see where he's coming from, they're like, okay, but he can't be too good because you know T'Challa's got to kick his ass. So that he chokes the woman in the very next scene. He's like, "Do what
Yeah.
I say, bitch." Like he literally says, "Like whatever I say is what you do, bitch." And he picks her up and chokes an old woman, an old overweight woman. It's like,
And then
really?
burns the plants.
Yeah. It's like, okay, that was stupid. Like I get what
Yeah,
you were
burn
going
all
for, but
those.
it didn't work. That's my least favorite moment. What would you did you guys have one? I really had to think for that one. I mean, it's kind of obvious, but I couldn't think of any others really.
Um, I don't really
I don't
know.
I don't like when he's like ordering the plants burned. That's after that. And he's like, "Let's just burn it all. I'm the king. That's it." It's like, "What?"
He said I'm the king a lot. I did like after he threw him off the cliff where he's like, "I'm your king." I like that part. Cuz I'm like, "Fuck yeah." That's just like wrestling, dude. Like you can't even if you want a guy to win, you can't save them. You know? The match will be wrestled and whoever wins wins. There's nothing you can do. And I like that. You have to respect that. Killmonger won. Can you imagine, dude, if you're in a wrestling match and the guy gets pinned, but he taps out and he's like, "Well, the match isn't officially over," and he like, gets back
He
up
comes
and
back
tries to
like at
wrestle
the
you.
end, an hour
Yeah,
later.
it's like, are you like, yeah, or he pretends to be injured, something like that. He pretends to be injured. He uses up the injury time. They give him water. He rests, and you're like, okay, is this guy injured or what? Finally, they're like, he gets up. He's like, "Hey, I'm still here, man. You didn't beat me." It's like the only reason I didn't beat you is because you pretended that your back hurt. Um, Not that T'Challa took the coward's way out, but Killmonger was gonna kill him, and he didn't because Zuri stepped in, which I'm pretty sure you're not supposed to do, and so Zuri should have died for that. But the movie doesn't even address the fact that like Zuri's Zuri should not be there. Like the Dora Milaje should be right in there. Like get the fuck back, don't break our tradition. Um, and yeah, and then he gets thrown off a cliff, and then he comes back, and the first thing he says, like, what a little bitch thing to say. The challenge isn't over, dude. I'm still here. Every time I like both times I saw that in the theater, I was like, nah, I kind of want Killmonger to win at that moment, you know.
Yeah.
Um, and then so the final battle with the rhinos. What'd you guys think of the rhinos?
I
It was
didn't
a
like
little
it.
borderline. You said you
Yeah.
didn't like it.
I
It
didn't
was
really like that either.
ridiculous.
I felt like the third act needed something because they went the traditional. A lot of people start punching each other, like in the third act, and it needed something else, right? Before you got to the second part where it's just two people punching each other, classic Marvel stuff.
Hmm.
But
Yeah.
so it did need a little extra. I did like how it ended with the rhino licking Okoye.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I liked what she said too when she said that she would kill her love, her husband, whatever they are. Um, Another thing that bothered me is that Get Out guy. I don't know his character name. I think his name is he just got nominated. What's his name? Freddie Adelau, something like that.
In the movie or in
Um,
real life?
in real life, what's his name? Freddie. Uh, does anyone have it? Get Out.
Is it Daniel
No.
Kaluuya?
Daniel Kaluuya. That's it. Yeah. Um, his character is supposed to be like the security guy, and he looks out of shape to me for like a young warrior.
Yeah.
Did you guys notice that? He was kind
Kinda.
of. And they had him under covers a lot. I don't know what was up with that. Um, when I was watching the one-on-one fight between Killmonger and T'Challa at the end, I just kept hearing the trailer music.
Yeah.
And you know that
What, the
that
revolution
sound,
will not be
the revolution will
televised?
not be televised. That stuff is about the civil unrest that I think his father was trying to avoid.
Fight.
1990 Oakland was a little after that, but that's at least it tied in. Because to be honest, what do you guys think of the soundtrack?
I liked it.
The in movie soundtrack wasn't great. It was kind of all over the place.
It was hit or miss, but there's two tracks I really like. The Ancestral Plane song, like kind of classical in a way, very sad and powerful, emotional. And then in the club when Okaya starts fighting, and there's like a
Yeah.
beat, a club beat. Here's where I thought there were some missed opportunities. So they have this Afrofuturism thing going on in this movie, right? I felt like you could have had a movie where um, you could have had more music like the trailer with actual lyrics. Like you maybe missed an opportunity there to do something new in that sense. Um, and then when Claw is in the Korea scene and he's in the car and he's like, turn some music on, this isn't a funeral. They played a song. I was ready for them just to have a badass chase to like some cool music. It was Korean music, but that song just like sort of faded into the background again. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
It didn't really. I was hoping for more. Um, so that one-on-one battle, once again, the pacing of the fights. So basically, T'Challa and Killmonger are fighting pretty evenly. They keep getting separated by the train, um, and then it just ends. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Yeah. It's over
Mhm.
really
Like
quick.
the move that T'Challa uses to beat Killmonger should be like part two of the finishing move. You make it part one, it's just like it just happens, and it can't just happen like that. Like where's the pressure? They're struggling for the knife, and then the knife goes in the air, and you're like, oh, what's gonna happen? Oh, he's dead. It's like, oh, okay. Um, so yeah, I just felt like there should have been some more build up there. Um, But that's what
Yeah.
happens when you have two characters that have the same power set. Um, so Killmonger gets stabbed in the chest, and we don't know. Like for the movie, a lot of people got stabbed. That didn't mean death. So the whole time I'm watching, I'm like, is he about to attack? But the movie wants me to think that he's not gonna attack. You know
Because
what I
he's
mean?
dying.
Yeah. The movie. I'm supposed to go. Oh, the movie's okay. It's winding down now. I'm like, okay, he got stabbed in the chest, but he's really really strong, and it's Wakanda, and T'Challa got stabbed like 3 times. Like, so anyway, how about that line though at the end? Because they knew death was better
Yeah.
than bondage.
It was a good line.
Th- that
Yeah.
should start a new trend where the villains instead of the heroes should have a badass last line to end it.
Yeah.
Um,
Yeah,
so
I
the
agree.
implications of Wakanda reaching out is people are going to try to invade it.
And
Um,
better tech.
better tech all over, which probably means that we're no longer gonna recognize the Earth that these movies are set in. At least we shouldn't. You know what I mean?
Right.
I wonder if Ant-Man and the Wasp was gonna take place at the exact same time that this is happening,
I hope so.
because it would
I
still be a
mean,
normal America.
I
I
hope
feel
so.
like it'd be
I
a little
really
bit
hope so.
after because Captain America breaks him out, and then immediately he goes back into custody, and they give him the bracelet.
That's true. It might be a little after.
Yeah. You know,
Um,
there is one part of this movie that I thought was kind of funny that gave me a thought. At the end, when they're in Oakland and they're like, I thought when you said I was going to go to California, I thought you meant Coachella or Disneyland. I'm like, if they go to Disneyland, are they going to see all the Guardians of the Galaxy stuff that they have there? Or,
that's funny. Um, what else? There was one other thing. Oh well. Um, so how about that Winter Soldier cameo?
I liked it. I liked it a
I
lot.
like the implication it gives that he's the White Wolf now.
What does that mean? Is that something from the comics?
It's like it's a title sort of like the White Wolf is, if what I can remember is like an elite warrior, sort of. Like it's not the Winter Soldier in the comics, but if he has that title, that kind of explains why he's helping leading the army in Infinity War. It's because he has a title of respect in Wakanda.
Uh, um, in the comics, he's a character named Hunter. So interesting though. Yeah, I did like seeing Bucky. I was happy to see him. I thought we'd see him frozen somewhere, but I was pretty happy with what we got.
Hmm.
Yeah.
Apparently, there's rumors that his new arm is going to have gold in it, like gold and vibranium. I wonder if it'll have any special abilities. I'm sure it has to. I'm
I
ready for
hope
him to
so.
cut his hair though. Like I don't think he needs that
Yeah.
hair. And then so where do you guys rank this movie?
Out of all, probably in the top 5.
Top five. I enjoyed it a lot more the second time. I enjoyed it the first time, but I enjoyed it a lot more the second time. Uh, if it were not for those two main storytelling issues that I had, and like the sort of sloppy CGI, um, and the pacing of the fights, this for me is behind Civil War and maybe tied with Avengers.
Do you think all the Rotten Tomato scores are not worth it, or do you think it's like
What's
lives
its
Yeah.
up
current
to it?
Rotten Tomatoes?
Well,
98.
it was at 100 before the movie was released, right?
Yeah, it's not 100. Like I don't believe it's 100. We talked about that last week. I think that's a bloated score. Right now, the audience score is at a 74. That's interesting.
What's the critic score?
It's
The
a
critic score is
97 on the tomato meter.
97. Yeah. Um,
Yeah, so it went down, but I guess that's kind of warranted.
I for me this is like a 94, 95.
Yeah.
Because the problems I had with the movie, they could be considered nitpicks. You know, I'm way into fighting, so the whole one-on-one thing I have a higher standard, and then it's I'm also way into storytelling. Like some people probably don't care about leaving the son behind. They probably just buy it, at face value. Like, oh, okay, that's what happened. For me, I'm like, why would you do that? So, you could call what all my critiques nitpicks for sure. Emerson, where do you rank this movie?
Um, I'd put it. I think. Civil War and Winter Soldier are better. Um, I don't know. I'd say it's
This to me is
around.
very equal to Winter Soldier.
I'd say it's around Doctor Strange and Ant Man.
Oh, really?
Yeah, for
Do you
me.
hold those in high regard?
I hold Doctor Strange. Yeah, I hold them high enough. They're
Because
upper
those
mid
two
upper
are
tier,
like
upper mid tier for me.
those two are the outcasts.
I like those two. They're upper mid tier. My top tier is
I
like
like
Iron
them.
Man, uh, the Avengers, Iron Man, and the Captain America 2 and 3, and then after that I'd put like Doctor Strange and Ant Man. So I'd put it up there with them.
Oh. Okay. All right. So next week maybe we'll do the Maze Runner, the third one if
Yeah,
it's still
sure.
in theaters. We should probably see it in theaters sooner though, just because
Yeah,
I don't know if it'll be around by next weekend. I don't think it's doing well. Do we still want to do it, or do you? I mean,
it's
we
your
could review it
choice.
later. Do you guys
It's
have
your
to see
Maybe.
it in the
guys'
theater?
choice. I don't have to.
I mean, it's up to you.
I'd be down with seeing it at home.
I
Just
mean, like,
'cause,
then what would we review?
we'll find something.
You want to do the Hunger
we still
Games or
need to do
something?
Thor: The Dark World. No, we have the MCU stuff. We still haven't finished that.
All right, Thor: The Dark World then.
We'll see. We'll think about it. Let's get through this weekend. I gotta move, and you gotta help me, Everett.
Mm-hmm.
So, all right, guys. See you guys later.
All right.
All right.
See ya.
See ya.